Okay. So if we could please move forward, if you could please move forward, for those of us who are at the back, because we'll be starting shortly. I'm told that the special guest of honor is actually within the premises, and he'll be joining us shortly. His Excellency, former President John Mahama is within the premises, and he'll be joining us shortly. So if we could please move forward a little bit. For those of us who are in the dark, I know that we're still, networking and everything, but if we could please move here, I'll be very, very glad. So let's get here, because shortly, in the next 2 minutes, we will be starting. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're privileged to have former President John Dramani Mahama in our midst, and so we're about to start the program as the 9th Ghana CEO Network Business Cocktail themed the CEO imperative, how are CEOs responding to the new economic reality. Shall we welcome Ernest de Graft Eju, who is founder of the CEO Network Ghana, to give us the welcome address with a round of applause.
Hello. Good evening to you all. We are happy tonight as CEOs Network to host the 9th edition of CEO Network Business Cocktail. As CEOs, we have two major calendars in the year. We do the Ghana CEO Summit every May, and then we have this party every first week in December. We meet to inspire ourselves, connect, learn, and broker business deals. The theme for tonight's gathering is something new we have introduced called the CEO's Imperatives. The CEO Imperative series is a way to gather to learn from colleague CEOs about how they've been able to navigate economic realities. So tonight, we have extended an invitation to practitioner CEOs to share ideas on the theme. Then we have also extended an invitation to theorists, some professors, to share the economist's perspective on the theme for tonight. Then, by popular decision, we have extended an invitation to the former president of Ghana, His Excellency John Mahama, who is now with us. Can we give it to him? The CEO program started in 2016. And to kill any political conversations, for 6 years of the CEO programs, we have invited the president of Ghana twice, and the Vice President of Ghana 4 times. The design of our program is such that alternative views and ideas are welcome. And that is the basis that we extended an invitation to the ex-presidents of Ghana. Without saying much, what I'm going to say is that relax, enjoy, speak to 10 people you have not met before tonight, and make sure you broker a business deal. On that note, I welcome you all. Let's have fun.
Thank you very much, Ernest. So, speak to 10 persons you've never met or you've never spoken to this year. That's very important. I think I've already done that. I've spoken to a lot of you that I haven't seen this year. I like the bit about inviting theorists. I don't know how my very good friend Professor Peter Korte would take that, but of course a lot of the things they do, they'll look at the theory and we'll look at how it can relate to real life. On that note, and because we've started at 8 p.m., let's invite the guest speaker, Professor Peter Korte, who is Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, as he speaks on how are CEOs responding to the new economic reality, the economist perspective. Let's welcome him with a round of applause. And I know it will not just be about theory. it would be about practice also.
Your Excellency, the former President of the Republic of Ghana, all protocols observed as we usually say. The CEO and everybody here present, I thank you very much for inviting me to share a few words with you. I have been given 10 minutes, so I'll try and do justice within the 10 minutes. Can we see the next slide? So basically, to talk about the CEO imperatives, the reality that confronts us, and how we address them. So on this slide, you see 2023, 2024, in terms of our growth projections, 2.3 in 2023, 2.8. Growth is important because if the economy doesn't grow, your businesses cannot thrive. Nobody will buy your goods. So growth is important, and therefore you need to know how well we are growing. But we are not growing very well. We need to grow between 8 to 10% if we really want to affect lives. So we have the non-oil growth, then inflation. Very critical. When we talk about some of these figures, they are very, very important. When inflation is very high, as businesses, you cannot predict your inflows, you cannot predict your imports. It becomes quite difficult to plan. So inflation is quite important, and even how much you borrow depends on the rate of inflation. So 31.3% end of December 2023. It is projected to drop to 15.0. That is an uphill task, in my view, whether we can achieve this in 2024. Then our deficit, of course, our import cover, quite low. Ideally, we should be doing 3 months or more import cover, but here we are with 1.7. That's the projection, and for 2023 it was 0.8. Can we see the next slide? And I am very passionate about this slide because I knew our former president is going to be here. He has to know that at ISA we evaluate your performance. Every government's performance we evaluate, and this is one of the things we will evaluate the next government. Also for businesses, it is important. You see the red dots, that tells you poverty, extreme poverty, people whose poverty rates or districts whose poverty rates are above 50% in the various dimensions, multi-dimensional poverty. And 23 districts have this red. It tells you that we have a lot of work to do, and over time we'll try and evaluate whichever government takes over to see how well we are affecting the lives of the bottom 20%. If you change the lives of the bottom 20%, believe me, you are transforming the economy. And also for businesses, you have to know this. You need to know where the wealthy people are, where the poor are, and when you are designing your products, you know where to target. So it is not just theory, but you need to know all of this as you plan your businesses. We have to change lives. Can we go to the next slide? Over there, the current economic reality again. You will see on lending rates, it's around 32%. That is the harsh reality as businesses that we are facing. You have to borrow at 32% and be able to cover all your costs, pay your workers and everything, and make profit for your shareholders. So that is the reality, the stark reality. Utility tariffs, you will see on the left-hand side, we are measuring water, how much we are paying for water. Unfortunately, the chairs have covered the bottom, but you see that we are paying about 1,418 for water currently, compared to what we are paying in 2022, about 1,100. With electricity, the same, from 82 cedis per kilowatt for industrial production to 120.9 cedis per kilowatt for industrial production. So that is the stark reality as businesses that you need to confront. Next slide. Then our pump prices, ex-pump prices in terms of fuel, again, you see how there was a spike, but gradually it tapered downwards, but we're still quite high in terms of fuel prices. You need fuel to pump, generate your plants, power your plants, and many other things. Then headline inflation, currently 35%. It went so high, but gradually declining, and hopefully it might decline further. Can we look at the next slide? Yes, so how are CEOs confronting this stark reality? I have shown you the background, what is happening. Now, how are others doing it? One is to be embracing technology. If you do not embrace technology, there will be revenue leakages, because people would accept or collect your revenue and account to you. You need to embrace technology to reduce revenue leakages, minimize the human interface, enhance your sales. You need to do whatever you can to enhance your sales and promote efficiency in monitoring. You always have to monitor your sales, monitor your revenue, and many other things. Then, getting value for money in your spending. So your operations, when you're operating, you need to look at some of the things. Sometimes there's too much waste. For instance, delivery. If you're going to deliver your goods, strategize and make sure your routes are well planned. Otherwise, you have a zigzag way of moving, and that will not bring efficiency. Utilities. I showed you the price of utility is gone up. So make sure that you minimize waste. In some cases, the lights are left on when there's nobody in the room. We use air conditioners when we are all out there for a break on an hour or two. We need to look at all of this to minimize some of these challenges. Advertisement is very important. These days, social media is a very vibrant way to advertise, to sell your products. So let's reach out there using social media. And I tell you, you will make a lot of sales rather than using the more expensive means of advertisement. Then office space. Rationalize the use of your office space. In some cases, you can collapse some offices and make sure people use others. You can also ensure that others work from home. There are many businesses where these days you don't do the 5 days a week, 8 to 5. You can ask some senior level people to come a few days or 3 days or 4 days. All of this to minimize the use of office space as well as reduce cost. Then employees, they are the backbone of your business. If they are dissatisfied, I tell you, you would not achieve results. Sometimes we think some of them are thieves, and therefore we don't treat them well. But they are the backbone, provide incentives, reward deserving ones, and they will protect your revenue. Work from home, as I mentioned, insurance schemes, team building. Let them understand that if we work together, they stand to gain. Then the last but not the least is what innovative things can you do to promote growth? And one is reward loyal customers. We don't do a lot of that, rewarding our loyal customers. But they are very important. When you reward them, they continue to engage with you, they continue to buy from you, because there is a lot of competition. Get customer feedback. When you travel out there, Europe and many others, you see in the malls and other places, there is always feedback. You walk to a bank, there's a feedback there, so you know whether you are providing good services. I don't think we are doing a lot of that. Let's get customer feedback and marketing through social media. Diversify your products. Don't do the same thing over and over again. Diversification is important. Look at the economy, look at where we are going, look at demand pressures, where the demand is, where it's going to be profitable, and diversify your product. And I would also mention monitoring is very important. You need to monitor your sales, monitor your revenue, and ensure you have value for money. Can we look at the next slide as I try to finish within my 10 minutes? Next slide, please. Yes, then cheaper. No, you've gone too far, too fast. alternative sources of credit. Supplier credit is also important. It's cheaper and also can we go back to the previous slide? Yes, supplier credit or internal funds are more preferred if you don't have it before you borrow. Because in this current dispensation where you pay about 32%, believe me, if you borrow irresponsibly, you will pay dearly for it. So make sure you borrow and use it judiciously. Efficient spending, I've spoken about utilities advertisement, networking of ideas, best practices, regular training, engage qualified accountants. Sometimes we think they are too expensive, but they would help you. Same with auditors. They would help you to minimize how much tax you pay to GRE. They will make sure they streamline your operations. Then data-driven research. Let everything you do be data-driven. New products, get some customer feedback, get some demand information, and make sure whatever new product lines you are introducing is going to be accepted within the community or within your stakeholder reach. I've spoken about diversification and many others. So let me finally look at the outlook 2024. Let's move on to the last slide. 2024. What is the outlook? How does it look like? Now, within the sub-region, growth was 3.3, and we are likely to grow at 4% within the sub-region. In the case of Ghana, I can hazard a guess and say we are likely to grow by 3% in 2023, and it is projected that we'll grow at 2.8%. So we are not going to grow by any significant margin in 2024. Let's bear that in mind. Then, issues about fiscal deficit, inflation, exchange rate. Exchange rate is one of the major problems facing businesses. And so for 2024, first half of the year, I can confidently hazard a guess and tell you that it will be relatively stable, all things being equal, as we say. But the second half is what we cannot be sure, because as soon as we enter the second half, the campaign season intensifies. There is the pressure for the incumbent to also move in there and ensure trying to retain power. Then, of course, when our former president also puts on his gear, fires his 12-cylinder engine, you can tell that it's not going to be easy. The competition is going to be very keen. And if we are not too careful, we're going to repeat the political business cycle where our budget deficit will balloon again, and that can have repercussions on the exchange rate, on inflation, and many other things. So let's watch that carefully. Some would argue that we are under an IMF program. Yes, look at the years that we were under a program. You will see 2012, 2016, in all of that, we were not able to meet our targets. We deviated because election has become a do-or-die affair. In our local parlance, we say nobody holds a stick and allows a dog to bite him or her. So the incumbent would like to fight, and the opposition would also like to fight. So there is going to be a lot of competition, and we are likely to deviate. But 2024 is really a test case because we have gone through a difficult debt exchange program, and therefore we have to learn from our mistakes. You will see inflation, unfortunately the chair is covering, but inflation, we have deviated from our target May 1999, November 30, 2022, 2002, 2003. In 2012, we had just exited from an IMF program. Then 2016, we were under a program. So in all those periods, we have not really done well in meeting our targets, and therefore we may suffer some consequences in 2025 that we should bear in mind. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, my final word, and especially for those drinking wine, leave some for me, I'll be there. But please take note that the economy will pick up in 2024 because there will be a lot of economic activity. There will be some pickup. But it is the second half that we have to watch carefully so we don't repeat the political business cycle. But as businesses, I think you should strategize, take advantage, because in an election year there is a lot of economic activity. Take advantage and make the best out of the moment. Thank you very much.
Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you very, very much, Professor Mutapoti.
Coca-Cola Bottling Company.
And you know, as somebody who works within the traditional media, I was happy with everything you said apart from the bits, Professor Kwate, that, you know, businesses should be targeting social media. Prof, okay, I was just unhappy with the bit that says businesses should be targeting social media. At least you know how I get paid. If there are no adverts within the traditional media, I don't get paid. So that one I disagree, but of course we can definitely have that conversation. Thank you very much. And we also do know that, yes, we're happy that at least the economy will pick up in 2024. So the CEO Network Business Cocktail is sponsored by lots of companies. Would like to acknowledge some of our sponsors. And then we'll get into the panel discussion. We'll be finding out how CEOs are responding to the new economic reality. So I'll be introducing...
Sugar-free, freshly squeezed fruit juice? Choose Greenline fruit juice and smoothies. Filled with vitamin C, calcium, iron, fiber, and zinc, every drop of Greenline juice and smoothies is naturally made to give you energy, good health, and refreshment. Enjoy your favorite Greenline orange, pineapple passion, watermelon, pineapple and turmeric, pineapple beetroot, pineapple and ginger, and healthy green. Greenline fruit juice and smoothies, powered by nature.
Take their seats upstage and then we'll begin the conversation. First is Mr. Yao Apialat, advisory partner for Deloitte Ghana. Let's welcome him with a round of applause. Let's welcome Yao Apialati, who is financial advisory partner for Deloitte Ghana. Okay, there he comes. Thank you very much, Yao, for joining us. Do we have David Ofosu-Dorte, who is Executive Chairman, ABN David Africa, here with us? If you're here, David Ofosu-Dorte, kindly join us upstage. Salem Kalmoni is Managing Director of Japan Motors Trading Company. Please join us upstage. Dr. Humphrey Ayim Dake is President of the Association of Ghana Industries. If you're here, Dr. Humphrey Ayim Dake, kindly join us on stage. Okay, there he comes. And CEO of Imesco Ghana Limited, Jean-Paul Fegali. Please join us on stage if you're here. Jean-Paul, if you're here, please join us upstage, so we know that we have a full house for the discussions to begin. Okay, Jean-Paul not here yet, but we would go for our next sort of acknowledgement of our sponsors.
Theater, a hair and nail salon, 24-hour security service, a spa, restaurant, a pharmacy.
Your flight is ready to leave.
Sit back and relax and enjoy the flight.
From the Lenclay Sports Stadium to the Santiago Bernabeu, from the Bochum Arena to the Madison Square Gardens, we would make sure that you do not miss out on all the scoop, the kicks, and all the flicks in the world of sports, from association football to boxing to hockey to tennis. We make sure that we bring the action to you right in your home. And for our punters out there as well, we have something very special for you in the Investors Corner. Join me on WoezorTV every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for Ghana's #1 sports post-mortem show, The Arena. My name is Kosi Fiaka, and I would be your host.
We will rock you.
Oh, today he has been extra sweet, and the way he looks at me.
I have done everything by the book. It's on. Hey, but I have to get some condoms, Charlie.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
Watch your favorite TV show in your palm. TV on the go. Download the WoezorTV app for Android on Play Store or for iOS on the Apple Store. TV made easier. WoezorTV, we go all out for you.
want a sugar-free, freshly squeezed fruit juice, choose Greenline fruit juice and smoothies. Filled with vitamin C, calcium, iron, fiber, and zinc, every drop of Greenline juice and smoothies is naturally made to give you energy, good health, and refreshment. Enjoy your favorite Greenline orange, pineapple passion, watermelon, pineapple and turmeric, pineapple beetroot, pineapple and ginger, and healthy green. Greenline fruit juice and smoothies, powered by nature.
Your flight is ready to leave.
Sit back and relax and enjoy the flight.
From the Lenclay Sports Stadium to the Santiago Bernabeu, from the Bochum Arena to the Madison Square Gardens, we would make sure that you do not miss out on all the scoop, the kicks, and all the flicks in the world of sports. From association football to boxing to hockey to tennis, we make sure that we bring the action to you right in your home. And for our punters out there as well, we have something very special for you in the Investors Corner. Join me on WoezorTV every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for Ghana's #1 sports post-mortem show, The Arena. My name is Kosi Fiaka, and I would be your host.
Watch your favorite TV show in your palm. TV on the go. Download the WoezorTV app for Android on Play Store or for iOS on the Apple Store. TV made easier. WoezorTV, we go all out for you.
Today he has been extra sweet, and the way he looks at me.
I have done everything by the book. It's all
16. Also, somebody has left his car key in the restroom, and so the gentleman to my left has your car key. Please, if you've lost your car key, please come up here and he would give you your car key. Someone has left his car key in the restroom. So if you are the person and you're looking for your car key, please, your car key is right here. So you could come there and check it. But if you do not know you've lost it, please check your pocket. Who knows? You may have lost it. So thank you very much, Yao Apia Latte. Thank you very much, Salem Kalmoni. And thank you very much, Dr. Humphrey Ayim Dake, for joining us. Now, Professor Peter Cortes set the tone. He's told all of us what the realities are. And I'm sure you would not disagree with him what our economic realities are. And because we want to learn, we want to see how you're navigating it. We'll just do it briefly. So first, let me start off with you, Yao Apialati. If you could tell us, for instance, how you're combining both strategic decisions with operational adjustments to weather the storm and maintain a course towards long-term value creation.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think the economic reality is what has been elaborated on by Professor Peter Corte. You talk to other partners or business leaders from other countries. You have met people from South Africa, and the question they ask is, how do you survive in a country where inflation is about 50%? So that means that your cost has gone up by 50% over a period.
Sure.
And if you run or you operate in a country where inflation is around 50%, then you have to be a superman to be able to make a supernormal profit. And so, as business leaders, what you can do is try and manage the risk that comes with this kind of development. And so a very good example is the revenue sources that we have. We focus more on foreign revenue, trying to generate income from clients or customers who have forex. That helps you to protect against any of these challenges that we have. The other thing is to invest a lot in technology. Okay. You have been in forum where people have made the argument about AI taking people's jobs. AI is not going to take any job from anyone. It is the people who have mastered AI that will take your job from you. The same way as business leaders, it is the business leaders and CEOs who have mastered the use of AI who will take your business from you. So we are using technology, we are using high technology tools like AI to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of our work. So as business leaders, we should embrace the new normal, which is the use of technology and the use of AI.
Great. Mr. Carboni, the same question to you.
Could you repeat the question?
So I just asked how you're combining, both strategic decisions with operational adjustments to weather the storm and maintain a course towards long-term value creation.
Yes. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the invitation. The last 3 years have been extremely difficult, not only for Ghana, but even more particularly in the auto industry. Even before the economic difficulties of 2022, you might recall in the car industry there were shortages and disruptions, the so-called computer chip shortage. So we were not able, although the market was there, we were not able to import vehicles and sell to our customers. That was even before. So it's the economic situation only made it more difficult for us. So for us as a company in the auto industry, we are very much asset-based. Capital is very important. Just 100 vehicles will cost you $2 million. On average, it used to be that we carry a stock of 500 vehicles, which is $10 million. And nowadays, cash is king. Finance is very expensive. A year and a half ago, the interest rate offered by the banks was 17% on the CD. Yesterday's facility letter said 34%. On the dollar, what you used to get for 6% is 12%. Wow. So cash or finance is very expensive. And if it is very expensive, you have to treat it gingerly. You have to make the best use of it. So for us, it's very important for us to manage our stock, manage our inventory. We've reduced our inventory from, as I said, 500 vehicles to about 250, 300. Then number two, you have to be more careful on carrying the products or the models which sell. You don't want to be caught out of stock, because this is the danger which could happen when you don't have sufficient stock. The other thing we did, we were compelled to invest in an assembly plant last year. Okay. And because of the economic difficulties, it's not operating to plant capacity. The potential capacity is much bigger, but it wasn't able to assemble to plant capacity. So what we had to do was to take breaks, I would say forced leave of our workers, and stop or take a break from assembly in order to minimize the cost. Okay. Then when the problem with that is eventually they run out of leave. So what do you do? Mm-hmm. Fortunately for us, the technicians at the assembly plant are also mechanics. So we redeployed them to our workshops, to various workshops, to make best use of them. So these are ideas in difficult situations. Redeploy your workers if you can. You must have the flexible workforce and well-trained workforce. Some of the things we've done to survive these difficult situations.
Great. Dr. Ayumdake, how have you been surviving? Well, thank you, Michael.
I think we're back on now, yes?
Hello?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, let me take the opportunity to first and foremost say congratulations to Ernest. I recall Ernest starting this CEO's network. I had opportunity to be engaged as one of the early consultants, and then today when I reflect on the initiative of Ernest, I could only say congratulations, Ernest, when he started. I mean, hey, he just had a vision. Congratulations. Secondly, may I also say thank you, Mr. Past President, for your attendance, and this is the second time running. I was privileged to host Dr. Bafo of the lab and the team of Levin NDC delegation to deliberate on two policies, the 24-hour policy and the legislative instrument that was tabled recently. We had a good discussion, and respectfully, we had a good engagement, and we are grateful to have you in our midst again. And I also take the opportunity to recognize fellow members of the Association of Ghana Industries. I see Azar Paints, I see M&G Pharmaceuticals, I see Zonda, I see, as far as my eye could catch, I see a number of our members here, and respectfully, it tells you how much we cherish such engagement. How are we coping within the times? Respectfully, it is a complicated matter. You will not find a model that fits all. In a recent engagement in the Volta region, where we had our AGM, in my speech, I did indicate the porous borders, how products were slipping through the borders coming into Ghana to compete with the oils from Avnash, Walma, and the BOP and the related industries. I could also speak of flour coming in through the Ivory Coast border, competing with the Irani, competing with Olam, Takrady flour mills of Ghana. And I can also speak on the biscuit front, where companies are bringing in products from Turkey, and will use 5% and under concession of raw materials, and then sell the rest on the open market, complicating the related issues. It tells you how complicated the events are. And I can say to it, per the heart aware, I run a logistics company. My logistic line have been dormant for the last 8 to 7 months, until recently that the MPS called me that they're expanding, and therefore I can deploy my logistic line. My mining industry is not doing very well. Packaging is a bit tough. So it's a complicated market, and there's no one fit solution to the events that are playing out. Respectfully, may I add to this, that the events playing out calls for a lot of dexterity, a lot of ingenuity. Businesses aren't going to the best of times. And therefore, when the related LI came up recently, and when I engaged the 50-member NDC delegation from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to discuss the LI and the 24-hour economy, I was brutally frank. And that is why when I hear on air members against the LI, I interrogated that even in Europe, where IMF and the US are dominated from the North American belt. That subsidizes their farmers close to $1 billion a day to subsidize export. And then when we find ourselves in a circumstances where our balance of payments is not balancing, our forex in the last 6 months, at least I lost over $3 to $5 million when the dollar fluctuated. It tells you how significant that LR is. Yes, the principle might be correct. The difficulty might be regarding to the implementation. Everybody here gathered here under the auspices of Ernest Ajiri under the network, one way or the other are going through forex difficulties.
Okay.
And therefore, the root cause of our matter goes beyond how we are managing our microspace. It is a macro-related matter. And if we can't come together collectively to resolve the matter that belongs to Mother Ghana, we will not get out of this. Respectfully, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yimdake. Some of those who disagree with you are here. I'm sure after the panel discussion, you would meet them and would continue with that. But let's move to another thing that is of importance to all of us. I'm sure that Yao would definitely like to comment about that. How CEOs are embedding ESG into strategy to create brand value and build trusted relationships with customers, employees, and other stakeholders. Yao.
Hello. Yeah. Okay. So I know that ESG is one of the popular terms, and it's been used and abused over the period. If somebody asks you explain ESG to a child, how do you explain ESG to a child? ESG is environmental, social, and governance. And if you pick the E, it stands for anything you do to protect the environment. So whatever you do, look at the impact on waste, look at its impact on water, look at its impact on energy, and look at its impact on emission. And the social is the thing that we do that are ethical. As business leaders, it is not everything that other businesses do that are ethical. The fact that other businesses are doing it doesn't mean it's right. So you have to choose what is right and do it. I have a friend who gave me a very good example that he had a friend who visited from the US, and they had walked somewhere in the park. And after walking in the park, they were so tired. 4 guys, they all stood by the roadside and they started urinating. You know how people urinate or this. And so my friend nearly joined them. And his friend tapped him and said, "Hey, do you do this here? Do you also do it?" My friend had just opened his zipper. He closed it and said, No, I don't do it. I don't do it. So the fact that all your friends have opened their zippers and urinating on the roadside doesn't mean you have to do it. So as business leaders, you have to think of what is ethically right. And then the last one is on the governance. It's about transparency, accountability. Are we transparent in our business processes? And are we accountable? I can give you some very good examples. That a very nice story of someone who went to Pakistan. And when he got there, he gave them, there's a food called biryani. I mean, it's meat and rice. So he gave, in a refugee camp, he gave the food to the kids. The kids ate the food, they ate the rice, and separated it from the meat. After eating the food, they were thinking that the kids were going to eat the meat at the end. After eating it, they just dumped the bin, the dump into the bin, the waste, and then the meat. And they asked, why have you dumped the meat into the bin? They said, we don't know what meat is, we don't even eat meat. And he went to ask, what's the issue? He said, in the area that we live, if you have a cow, it's your bank account. Because when you are going to marry, you marry with a number of cows. So depending on the woman's level, you have to buy, or you have to go with 15 cows, you have to go with 20 cows. So if you kill a cow and you eat, you have eaten somebody's bank account.
Okay.
So as businesses, or even as individuals, how many bank accounts have you eaten this week? That is somebody's bank account. So thinking about business, the elephant in the room is corporate, not even government. When you are talking about ESG, let me give you some statistics. Liberia economy, the last budget that was presented by the Liberia government was about $800 million. Liberian government economy was $800 million. Liberian whole economy is $800 million. ECG's revenue, a corporate institution in Ghana, has revenue of 7 billion. So ECG's revenue is 7 times Liberia's budget. That is how impactful corporate is. So if a corporate institution like ECG decides to be irresponsible, they can wipe out the whole of Liberia. The same thing when you talk about Ghana and other developed economies. Elon Musk, his net worth is $250 million. Our GDP, $250 billion. Our GDP as a country is $80 billion. So it means Elon Musk can buy Ghana twice as much. That is how impactful corporate is. So as corporate institutions, we have to take ESG to the next level. And how do you embed ESG in your organization? Just change the culture. In my organization, what we decided to do is, there is no plastic bottle. So if we give you a bottle, you use it for the rest of the time that you are in the office. Nobody will give you plastic bottle. So reusable cups or reusable bottles are what is the norm. So you have changed the culture. In the same way, you have reduced non-essential foreign travels because we are looking at the impact of our action on the environment.
Okay.
And also, you factor into gender. You can walk into an automobile shop, like your business, and you can ask from the front desk all the way to the executives, how many of them are women? A woman has walked to an automobile shop, and the first time she walked there, from the front desk executive all the way to corporate executive, they were all men. She walked out of the place and said she was not going to do business. That is what started Woman in Auto. So if you decide to change the principle, if you decide to change the strategy, you will have a new normal. All business leaders here are the people who can make the change. If we decide to change that, we are changing our modus operandi, we are not using plastic bottles, we are going to use something that's going to protect the environment. It will go a long way to protect our ESG principles. And I will just end lastly by saying, you can do good and still make money.
Okay.
And you can protect the environment and still make money. Sometimes we think that the companies that involve in emission, the companies that destroy the environment are those who make money. No. There are companies who are doing good and still make money. And as business leaders, let's commit to doing good. And by doing good, we'll make money.
Great. Thank you very much, Yapi Alate. Anything you would want to add, Dr. Humphrey Ayimdake?
Regarding ESG, controversially as it might sound, in the budget or in the recent, in the budget, you realize that there was a provision for emissions and also expanding the tax base on plastics-related products, and then it's a whole topical issue. We seek to deal with the real issues. Yeah, we've been part of the consulting group on the subject matter of expanding the tax net or the scope of the recycling product on the plastic space. Our position is that we believe the tax must be dropped whilst the scope of the tax-related issues on the product is widened so as to cover as much as we can. To us, the subject matter is Ghana. Anything that will make Ghana green, anything that will make the ESG regarding Ghana favorable to companies producing, manufacturing, adding value to products in Ghana, will advocate for you. But where it's only purely importation, unfortunately, it's not your desire to do just importation, but economic dynamics and the macro also compels you to balance your books with some bit of importation. That is why we'll be strongly advocating for the LI to stand. Even that is suspended, we'll still engage. And I respectfully table and submit to the former president that is a subject matter his lab must consider. And I stated to them, it is a matter that you need to evaluate carefully. The principle is not wrong. The implementation can be debated regarding the hazardous moral issue. Okay. The moral hazard triggers what we call the chronism-related matters. And in capitalism, you will find it. But there are remedies today by virtue of the technology space we find ourselves. And our proposal in that space, and I state it clearly, that the committee should be chaired by private sector. The application process should be open to portals, that your application will be tabled, and then the committee will vet. Before the minister approves, we'll give him a timeline. When it's contrary, the entire stakeholders will engage.
Okay.
Respectfully, Mr. President, former President, it's a matter that we believe is a panacea to aid you reverse and create a sustainable forest. Because if the IMF intention is to do a BOP, balance of payments, and forex management, and the LI seeks to do same, it is one of the routes that will aid you to create sustainable forex by managing your forex-related matters. It's a platform I have, and may I use it to champion Ghana. And I also use that to recognize other members of the association like Zonda. I have our lawyers from Atu Asian from one of our legal partners. I also have Professor Korte and his colleagues that will debate vigorously the subject matter of Ghana. Okay. It's so passionate. And Mr. President, we look forward to engaging you on economic issues that will aid our country to develop. I see that I have the attention of the House once I'm touching on very sensitive issues. That is the reason why we are gathered here, and we should say thank you to Ernest. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much. I see. Mr. Kamoni, anything you want to say finally before we get the saxophonist to give us a bit of a musical interlude before the former president comes in? Anything you want to say finally?
What comes to my mind on ESG? I mean, as companies, I agree with my colleague here. We have to do our part and not, our part. And as corporate citizens, we do matter. We add up in totality. But I want to say that the government, whether at the district, municipal, or the national level, I think are not enforcing the laws which they themselves have enacted. I live in cantonments, and for example, I see many buildings coming up. I know, having been involved in building, for example, that you should build 3 meters away from the wall. That's the law. There are architects here, and yet in the best part of Accra, in cantonments, you will see buildings right on the wall, or balconies protruding beyond the wall, and you wonder yourself, if this thing happens here, what's happening all over the country? I mean, we have the laws, we just don't apply them. This is as far as environmental concerns. One thing about, I guess in my industry, auto industry, there's the electric vehicles, the thing of the future. They'll be coming here. And just a few days ago, the government launched an electric vehicle policy. What is amazing is the automobile distributors and the assemblers were not consulted. We were as surprised as everyone else. If at all, we should have been consulted in this. And I think it's, yes. So I would say consultation with businesses, and number 2, implementation of the laws. Otherwise, they're as good as useless.
All right, thank you very much, Salem Kamoni, who is Managing Director of Japan Motors Trading Company. Thank you also, Yao Apialate, who is Financial Advisory Partner for Deloitte Ghana, and to you, Dr. Humphrey Ayimdake, who is President of the Association of Ghana Industries. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Let's give a round of applause. So I know that we're here to have fun, we're here to network, and so we'll take a bit of a musical interlude. The saxophonist is ready, and once he is done, we'll be hearing from the special guest of honor, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. So let's continue the networking, let's continue having fun, and let's continue chit-chatting with our friends, as well as getting a lot to drink and a lot to eat. Thank you very, very much. Of course, we'll have time for more music even as we continue with the program. But over the last few weeks, I'm sure there are many of you who've been asking yourself the question, what's this whole 24-hour economy all about? Well, I asked myself the question, I said, I want to see the concept, I want to see the policy document so we can look at it, discuss it, and maybe see what it means for Ghana. And it's become such a topical issue even as we aim towards issue-based campaign in 2024. Well, today we're privileged to have as our special guest of honor former President John Dramani Mahama as he speaks on John Mahama's 24-hour economic policy for Ghana, impact on Ghana's industrialization drive. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome His Excellency John Dramani Mahama with a round of applause.
Thank you very much. My good friend Ernest de Graaf Tegiri, thank you very much for this opportunity. And thank you, captains of industries and business, chief executives, ladies and gentlemen. I am very pleased to have a second opportunity to join you at your annual end-of-year cocktail. This networking event provides an excellent opportunity to share new ideas, knowledge, wisdom, and experiences. And I mean experiences from Ghana that defy all the models and theories taught in business schools. Because if you have survived this economy since 2018, then you are a successful global case study. Like my first participation, I've enjoyed your warm friendship and insightful conversations and shared great ideas with many of you since I came here tonight. Of course, my determination to transform Ghana's economy into a 24-hour working economy featured prominently in the conversations I've had since I came here. But I cannot help but repeat the point made by one of the CEOs with deep regret written on his face that we want to pay every legitimate tax, but the needless harassment from the Ghana Revenue Authority must stop. Backdated tax audits, re-audits and assessments based on the whims of the taxman are killing our businesses, he said. Ladies and gentlemen, many businesses still bear the brunt of the economic meltdown. And this is because, contrary to the finance minister's assertion, we have not turned any corner. And 2024 will still be a very challenging year. Many have shut down their businesses, and hundreds of thousands of workers who were laid off are still at home. Businesses that moved their headquarters from Ghana to our neighboring countries have not returned. The poorly thought through banking sector cleanup has left thousands of skilled financial sector workers jobless and impoverished. And as I speak, the second tranche of the IMF's extended credit facility, which was due on 1st November, has still not been received because of a delay by external creditors to sign off on our debt restructuring program. Of course, the consequence of our debt default has also started manifesting. For the first time in 30 years, Ghana struggled to put together a cocoa syndication loan, which had almost become a routine activity on our financial calendar. Major infrastructural projects have ground to a halt because lenders have cut funding as a direct fallout from our debt default. Independent power producers continue to threaten power cuts due to mounting debts that affect their operations. One of the producers threatened a few days ago to take out 560 megawatts of power before a promise to pay was made. Ghanaians face grave uncertainty if more of these independent power producers follow suit. As a proud Ghanaian and a political leader, it is disheartening for me that government has severely damaged our country's reputation on the global stage. Recent data from available research shows the cost of living in Ghana is very high and people are struggling to make ends meet due to the economic downturn. This includes pensioners who invested their life savings in government bonds hoping to enjoy a better life in retirement. Business confidence remains low, with private sector credits declining in real terms. As of October 2023, credit to the private sector had decreased significantly by 31.6%. And this is because of the government's excessive borrowing over the last 7 years and its reliance on the short-term treasury market. Lending rates increased to over 32% in October 2023 due to the Bank of Ghana's tight monetary policy, high treasury bill rates, and rising non-performing loans. The immutable reality is that the first 3 quarters of the year 2023 have also been a tragic period for Ghana's industries, causing a setback for the country's economic transformation. While the mining and quarrying sector is still holding out, most subsectors such as construction, electricity, water supply, sewage, and waste management have experienced a decline. These are clear signs of an ailing economy, an economy whose industrial base is failing and businesses collapsing with growing unemployment and its associated poverty and misery. Unemployment remains high, with the latest data indicating it at about 14%. Meanwhile, the 2024 budget and financial estimates of the government presented to Parliament have introduced yet again a raft of new taxes that will only add to the list of already burdensome taxes on households and businesses. These taxes, combined with very high interest rates, will further whittle away the capital of Ghanaian businesses and hinder their competitiveness. The economic crisis has ravaged all of us, but as business leaders, you have a deeper appreciation of the current situation. And when I paraphrase Bob Marley's song, he says, "Who feels it, knows it. You feel it and you know it." However, for the sake of Ghanaians and the future of our dear country, we cannot allow the status quo to continue. We know that this current economic situation is self-inflicted. As the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, I have put forth several proposals to ensure that the economy is returned to a stable footing and that economic activity is expanded for job creation and growth. I've committed the future NDC government to stringent enforcement of prudence and fiscal discipline in public financial management. Government expenditure will be cut and streamlined by significantly reducing the number of overlapping agencies and amorphous creations of this NPP administration. As I noted at the last year's event, we cannot fail to learn from the current economic catastrophe. This crisis shows that there is no substitute for prudent financial management. Ladies and gentlemen, we are faced with a triple helix problem that threatens the stability of our democracy, namely a financial crisis, severe unemployment, and unprecedented levels of corruption. Without an economic revamp, we cannot hope to make any mark in our massive unemployment crisis, which is leading many of our young people down the road of frustration and despair. Research shows that unemployment, unavailability of jobs, poverty, high costs, and poor living conditions are issues of grave concerns to all Ghanaians. Chief executives, business owners, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot continue the business as usual way of doing things. We need to think outside the box. We must enhance efficiency by optimizing available resources, including infrastructure and human resources. Ghana must work more efficiently. The restless quest for efficiency to solve our financial and unemployment problems is why I have emphasized that more than the traditional and regular methods of economic activity would be needed to revitalize this economy. My next administration, inshallah, will pursue projects and programs to transform Ghana into a fully fledged 24-hour economy by optimizing available resources. I acknowledge the massive support for the idea of a 24-hour economy by the Trade Union Congress, civil society organizations, journalists, lecturers, labor consultants, CEOs, and captains of industry, personnel from the creative arts industry, drivers, traders, and the teeming unemployed youth of Ghana. God willing, from 7th January 2025, we shall implement a series of transition measures to address the economic decline and set Ghana on the path to recovery. The proposed 24-hour economy forms a part of NDC's vision to build the Ghana we want together. And let me reiterate that our quest to build the Ghana we want together with you will be premised on 1, building an industrialized, inclusive, and resilient economy that creates well-paying jobs, creating an equitable, healthy, and prosperous nation, developing well-planned, safe communities while protecting the natural environment, building efficient and dynamic institutions for national development, and strengthening Ghana's role in African and international affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, the 24-hour economy may have finally resonated with Ghanaians. It may be classified as an idea whose time has come due to Ghana's self-inflicted economic crisis today, because the 24-hour economy initiative has been well thought through and was captured on page 105 of the NDC's 2020 People's Manifesto. Indeed, its roots emanate from the 40-year National Development Plan that was developed by the National Development Planning Commission, which was put together when I was president of this country. Unfortunately, the present government discarded the 40-year development plan and replaced it with a Ghana Beyond Aid plan that has rather turned Ghana into a beggar nation. Stripped to the essentials, ladies and gentlemen, the 24-hour policy will be anchored as an economy that runs around the clock with a 3-shift work schedule in many sectors. The intent is to transform Ghana into first a self-sufficient and then an export-led economy. To be clear, we are not creating a command economy with centralized planning. That would be at variance with our social democratic principles as a party. Specifically, 1, we will combine government support and private sector involvement to realize the 24-hour economy. We'll establish a comprehensive policy framework that supports the growth of a 24-hour economy. Legislation will be introduced to support businesses operating 24/7, including looking at the labor laws, tax incentives, and regulations that ensure workers' rights are protected. Favorable tax policies will be adopted so that businesses can reduce their operational costs and stay competitive. Companies that sign up for the 24-hour economy will enjoy smart metering calibrated to charge a lesser tariff per kilowatt hour for power that is consumed during off-peak hours at night time based on a time of use tariff system. Financing support will be provided for certain strategic agro-processing industries and manufacturing companies to boost production for value addition, self-sufficiency, and increased exports. Knowing that government is the biggest spender in the economy, we shall boost demand by ensuring that all government ministries, agencies, district assemblies, and state-owned enterprises buy made-in-Ghana goods and procure the services of Ghana-based firms where available. For instance, we should be buying electric cables produced in Ghana, transformers produced in Ghana, vegetable cooking oil produced in Ghana, soaps and detergents produced in Ghana. And I think that government being the biggest spender in the economy, if it makes a deliberate policy to procure goods produced in Ghana, we should create the kind of demand that will make our industries run 24/7 to meet that demand. We will address safety and security measures to ensure smooth operations across all sectors during these extended hours. We will see to the availability of the necessary infrastructure such as transport networks, public amenities and security systems, including a well-regulated and monitored private security architecture to facilitate round-the-clock activities. Technology and digital infrastructure investments would also be prioritized to enable automation and seamless operations. We cannot have a successful 24-hour economy without an aggressive expansion in our exports. I will therefore personally chair an accelerated Export Development Council, which will meet quarterly to review initiatives for expanding Ghana's exports under the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme and the African... Sorry. Let me take that again. I said I'll personally chair an accelerated Exports Development Council, which will meet quarterly to review initiatives for expanding Ghana's exports under the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme and the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. There will be extensive consultation and collaboration with various stakeholders, including CEOs like you, businesses, and our workers' unions. Businesses will be encouraged to empower the workforce with the necessary skills and training to thrive in a 24-hour economy, focusing on the most impacted sectors. Sanitation, cleaning services, garbage collection, and environmental protection will also form a significant part of the 24-hour economy. Financial services at the ports, shipping agencies, and customs will be enabled to work additional shifts at night and weekends to allow for 24/7 clearing of goods from our ports. This will help reduce demurrage charges on importers and reduce congestion at our ports. My brothers and sisters, there will be no limit to the sectors the 24-hour economy initiative will target, and the benefits, I can assure you, will be enormous. As a young child, I worked through a 3-hour shift when my father was a business person in the north. He was the largest commercial rice farmer and owned a rice processing plant. And I used to do day shifts and do night shifts. We can do it again. Through the 24-hour economy, we will create new, decent, and well-paying jobs for our youth, reduce unemployment, which is a significant challenge, and improve the living standards of Ghanaians. Also, the expanded range of operating or working hours will increase productivity and fully utilize all resources, including infrastructure. The 24-hour economy will provide greater flexibility and convenience for workers and allow citizens to access goods and services at any time of the day. We will improve infrastructure, lighting, and security at all entertainment districts, such as Osu Oxford Street, Abekala Pass, East Legon, Lagos Avenue, etc., to allow operations throughout the night. Consider hospitality, transportation, and security, including a well-regulated and monitored private security establishment. These will enhance the consumer experience and create a thriving and dynamic economy. And let me add that the 24-hour economy will also attract foreign direct investment to stimulate the local economy and create more employment opportunities for Ghanaians. We would wage a strong fight against corruption to reduce waste and save money for investments in the economy. And the sword of the fight against corruption will cut both ways, against past government officials of the incumbent administration, against civil and public servants, businesses, and government suppliers if they fall foul of the law. We will review our laws governing the extractive industry so that Ghana can increase its share and increase local participation in the exploitation of our natural resources. I believe that with the improved revenue from savings made from the reduced size of government, the anti-corruption fights, fast-track operationalization of new oil and gas wells, licensed investments in the mining sector, and a revamped cocoa sector, we can ease the heavy burden of tax that has been placed on Ghanaian households and businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, we in the NDC have never claimed to be the repositories of all knowledge, and so we look forward to the mutual sharing of ideas and insights with you as I have done here tonight. We need to network more And I look forward to another opportunity where I can sit and interact, take your questions, and share more thoughts and imbibe your suggestions to tackle our collective problems. When entrusted with the governance of this country and management of the economy, I pledge to you on behalf of the party I lead to stay the course of prudence to maintain stability and predictability in the economy. Incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, today is December 7th. And a year today would have begun counting and tallying the results of the presidential and parliamentary elections. By this time, Ghana will be getting ready for the results of a decisive election to make the change that we deserve. We're certain that the survival of businesses like yours depends on a stable macroeconomic environment. It will also depend on the need for change that will happen next year. I remain optimistic about the Mahama 24-hour economic initiative. In a rapidly advancing global economy in which countries worldwide are gradually drifting and adopting 24-hour economies to remain competitive and attract investments, Ghana cannot be left out. With increasing urbanization, where many previously rural communities are becoming urbanized with its associated higher demand for goods and services, including food, beverages, around the clock, Ghana cannot be left out. With an expanding services sector in which healthcare, tourism, entertainment, business process outsourcing, and call centers have the potential to operate optimally and continuously, Ghana cannot be left out. With technological advancements enabling communication, coordination, and transactions at any time, making it easier for businesses to operate 24 hours, 7 days a week, Ghana cannot be left out. And finally, my dear CEOs, let me assure you that we shall pursue initiatives that allow the private sector to flourish consistently and visibly, and in a way that improves upward socio-economic mobility and social justice. A commitment is to stop the excessive and direct competition between governments, its agencies and cronies with private businesses through dubious restrictions, mechanisms, and aggressive business regulations. The 24-hour economy initiative is indeed a game changer for the Ghanaian economy. It will benefit your businesses, it will benefit employment, it will help our youth who are seeking jobs, it will take away the frustration and despair they feel. We shall vigorously pursue the 24-hour economy amongst many other initiatives as part of our broader vision and determination to increase economic growth, create jobs, and improve the quality of life of Ghanaians. And we shall work with you to build the Ghana we want together. I thank you all, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas in advance. Thank you.
We can definitely do better. Let's give another round of applause. Thank you very, very much, Your Excellency. So for all of you who are thinking, who are asking questions about the 24-hour economy, I'm sure you have an idea what that would be and its impact on Ghana's industrialization drive. We'll take a bit of musical interlude because we're here to network and have a bit of drink and get something to eat. But of course, there would also be a raffle where some of you who are lucky get to win prizes. So please relax, let's have fun, because that's what we came to do.
shortly. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will be leaving us shortly. But while he leaves, we'll still be having our musical interlude, and you can still keep on with the networking. So this is just to announce to all of us that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has to leave us, and so is departing from us. Okay, so before His Excellency leaves, he would like to have a group picture with the CEOs. Okay, I think we can do it on the stage. Yes, His Excellency will have a group picture